all of you who listen to Submersion and own an Android device, go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android device. I personally use the app and I love it. I can search for the podcast I want to listen to, select it as a favorite, and have it just a click away. Make sure to select Submersion as a favorite so you don't miss any of our new episodes. Again, the app is the Podcast Republic app, available on Android devices. Episode 72!
Woo! Wow. Low energy tonight. It's pretty late.
That was low? You think that was low?
That was pretty low energy.
I think so.
Oh, damn it. Okay, well, sorry, Az.
Sounded fine to me.
Well, you haven't been around enough, Al.
I've been listening. Come on.
That's actually true. Against all odds, you've actually been listening to some of the episodes.
I know. And I came in to clarify, I'm not a crotchety drunk. Although I was very happy on my birthday, Ben. I'm not a crotchety drunk.
There you go, man.
I have never puked in my bed from being drunk, unlike others.
All right. Which one of us said that? Was that
just throwing
Kyle
that out
or
there.
Zach that blamed you of that?
No one.
None of us did.
No one.
I never puked in my bed. Other beds,
See?
I can't say anything about that, but my own bed, definitely never puked in it.
Oh, wow, that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. So, Alex, is that the only reason you came on tonight?
No, I
didn't even watch the movie. Just like I just want to clarify something.
We just
I'm
hear
a
him hang
decent
up on the call.
human being.
No, I actually like this type of movie that we watched tonight. So that's why I'm on.
All right.
Yeah.
A sub-movie. Interesting. I like them as well.
If you could call this a sub-movie.
Yeah, perfect submarine movie.
Yeah, so we'll start off with that because I usually forget to do this at the beginning. We are in the start of a new cycle. We've closed out WTF Movie Month, and we are now on to, does this really need a submarine month? And you'll notice the question mark at the end because these movies are ones that are considered questionable for submarine content, I would say. Although they do mention them, like in the descriptions. I'll go through the description of this movie later. In the trailer, you'll see a submarine. But anyways, that is for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't. Oh, dive!
What began as an innocent conversation among friends would soon spiral out of control and later be referred to by future generations as the eighth wonder of the modern world. Mac East Second Floor Studios takes you on the journey of your lifetime as your captains, Alex the Mustard Man, the artist formerly known as Brom, Jamie the Brain, Kyle El Capitan, and Zach the Backbone present Submersion. Jamie, what were you about to say before that torpedo started heading right at us?
Yeah, sorry. I was going to say, I hope that doesn't steer us wrong because we've had other cases where descriptions of movies have mentioned submarines. The one that comes to mind is, what was it, Darkest Descent or Deep Descent? What was it called? Dark Descent. Come
on.
Hey, I can't remember every movie. But that one talked a lot about submarines in the description, and then it wasn't, or actually submersibles in the description, and there was not a submersible to be seen. So,
except for the one where remember Dean Cain was like, do your pilot shit.
Right. And this one, I mean, I think that's probably similar to the amount of submarine we got in the movie that we watched today.
I think this is the new record. I'm not going to split hairs here. I think they are pretty close.
Well, so we can discuss this. We can discuss this later. But I think in terms of the overall scope and the importance of the submarine to the film, this is easily the lowest. I would think. Even something where we barely saw any submarines, like Mr. Limpet, where there were obviously some submarines, but we didn't do much with them.
Other than blow the shit out of them.
Exactly, but they were a big part of the plot. And this one was, I'm not even sure why there were really submarines in it, but we'll get to that.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
But that's why we're doing this month, man.
Yeah.
Some of these we've got to take notice. Alex, so you said this is a type of movie you like to watch.
Yes.
I enjoy these types of movies too, but you've been gone for a while, although we know you've come back recently for a very special episode. What did we get to watch this week?
We watched Jackie Chan's First Strike, also known as First Strike, and also known as Police Story 4 First Strike. It's a 1996 film starring, couldn't tell, Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
This is actually a genre of film that I don't really know well at all. So I was very pleasantly surprised as I watched through this film. I'd never really watched any. No, the Hong Kong action
Jackie Chan films or anything?
Gosh.
No, only the American ones that came out, like the classics, like Shanghai Nights and The Search.
Mm-hmm.
And Rush Hour.
Shanghai-
Did you ever
Shanghai-
see,
What's Rush Hour? I've never heard of it. What's Rush Hour? Oh,
don't worry about it.
Oh.
You never seen like Drunken Master or anything like that?
No.
Oh man,
I don't think
I
I think this may be the first Hong Kong Jackie Chan film that I saw. I don't think I've ever seen anything he's done other than his American films. Yeah, I've seen like all of the American films, really. I mean, even like Around the World in 80 Days. Because, I don't know if you know, but I have a Bad Movie website.
Oh, is that, I think I've heard of it.
What's the
Bad Movie Twins?
what's the URL?
It's badmovietwins.com.
Oh, okay.
Great.
That's badmovietwins.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So anyway,
I just noticed the plot keywords on this. Frame up, nudity, fourth part, hero, and Australia.
Oh, I was gonna say what nudity? Oh yeah, now I remember. So Alex, so you're like a big fan of the genre?
It's kind of strange. Like when I used to have cable, and I've cut the cord since then. I only got like Netflix and Hulu now. But when I'd be up late at night, just going through random channels, anytime I found one of these types of movies, like a Jackie Chan action flick, I would just sit there and watch it. There was subtitles. I couldn't understand a single word that they were saying, but yeah, I really enjoy watching them, and I've watched a lot. I don't know why, but it's just something fun for me to have in the background, and I don't mind watching it. It's always a good laugh because I think it's comical to me because they're being so serious, but the voiceovers are really bad sometimes. And this movie is actually pretty good. I'll save it for my rating, but some of the other ones I've watched are god awful. But for whatever reason, I enjoy watching them.
I could see them being really good as background stuff because, yeah, like they dub them over. I think some stuff with the plot is like lost in translation. I think they cut them up to be released in America anyways with the dubbing. And so that all is kind of besides the point. But then you have these like kind of incredible action sequences. So it'd be fun to have them on just like randomly. But I've never seen them.
Yeah.
So
I can't believe you, man.
I don't know. I'm a movie fanatic. I don't know if you guys know that because I don't know if you know this, but I have a Bad Movie website.
Oh yeah.
What's the URL to that again?
It's badmovietwins.com. Okay.
And this podcast probably gets you no more visits than normal, does it?
No, it actually gets an infinite percentage more because we usually have 0, and I think we may get 1 as a result of this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
It's incredible,
Wow.
the analytics and stuff. I've been to it a few times, and it's pretty remarkable.
It is pretty next level stuff.
I mean, no, I gotta say, Patrick does a lot of really good actual analytics of these movies. Like, it's not even joking. Like, we're scientists and we have degrees and that kind of stuff. And so he puts a lot of his effort from that analytics towards these stupid movie stuff. Mm-hmm. So there's some pretty cool stuff on that website.
Stupid? Hold on.
Well, no, they're objectively stupid movies.
Oh, okay. All right. Should we get into this, man?
I think we probably should. Yeah. Do we need another alarm?
We
no.
might. We've been going for a while.
We've been going for a while. Okay, so this is Jackie Chan's First Strike, starring who, Kyle?
Oh, God. What's his name?
Jackson Lu.
badmovietwins.com, I think. Oh, sorry.
Owen Wilson.
Nice.
So we start out in Hong Kong, and guess what we find out? Jackie Chan has been tracking someone in we're maybe even like 2 minutes into the movie, and Jackie Chan is known for obviously his incredible martial arts, but he also is known for his comedy, and this part really cracked me up right here.
Her name is Latasha
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just like, screw it. Like, I can't say that at all. I have no idea.
Yeah, you're kind of like pointing out one of his greatest qualities and why he came over to America, which is like he has this kind of self-deprecating aspect to him that is very charming. Like you can't help but be charmed by him, even though don't necessarily understand what he's saying. Like, even if it was not dubbed, you would find him kind of charming in the end. So
definitely. So basically, he's been tracking somebody for the last 2 weeks, and that person's name,
Natasha.
And yes, he finds out that she's going to be headed to Ukraine at this time. It's still referred to as the Ukraine.
And I love settings in movies. So this made me very happy. They're on their way to Ukraine from Hong Kong. And I was like, oof, love it. Very specific.
Dude, it is. We don't have many movies that we've seen over in Ukraine, but we've got one here. And so it should be known, well, he has to go take a plane at this point.
He's told basically they need someone, just anyone. They really like his work, and they need someone just to kind of follow Natasha and take notes on what she's up to and what she's doing. And it's kind of just like a cushy job, and it's because they like him. They like Jackie Chan, and they're like, hey, why don't you just do this easy thing? And so he's on the plane. He's taking notes of when she goes to the bathroom. It's supposed to be, really easy job for him to do. And so he does it, gets there, says, oh, she went to the bathroom a few times, whatever, here are the times.
7 times is what he said.
Yeah, and
here's
then
the timetable.
They kind of let him say, oh, hey, go have a rest, have a little vacation in Ukraine before you head out tomorrow. And so it's supposed to be pretty much it. That's supposed to be the entirety of his job.
But you also missed the part where they're like, by the way, here's $1 billion.
Right, yeah. It's a joke of how cheap how worthless the money is.
Yeah, because it was funny. Like literally in the next scene, he's just like, holy shit, I got $1 billion. Yeah. And then in the next scene, he's like trying to buy something really small. And the guy's like, yeah, it's like $4 million for 2 of these. He's like, what?
Yeah. And so anyways, sorry.
Caviar. Sorry. That's what he was trying to buy. Caviar.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
you want to get some caviar. Yeah. And so, anyways, Natasha kind of like, what is it? She gets on a phone call with her partner, the person she's supposed to be meeting, and they immediately get suspicious. Like he's like, I don't like this. It's being tapped, and jumps off. And so they're made. The CIA has been made. And so they start to do some real trickery. Yeah, so they get all trickery, and Natasha's able to get away. And all of a sudden, Jackie Chan, randomly buying caviar, looks around, is like, oh shit, and sees her. And clearly she's like just on her way wherever. And so he jumps into a cab and says, follow them. And basically lets the CIA know, like, I'm tracking her. And so the CIA, all of a sudden he's got a new job. The CIA is like, keep tracking her. Like, we have no idea where they are. We've lost them. So he's kind of on the case.
He pulls up to this like snowy retreat area, and we see her, and she's like just straight making out with this guy.
Up, yeah.
And he just like starts taking her top off.
It's probably pretty cold, but she's got all these money, so that's keeping her warm.
She has a corset completely made out of money. I was like, there's nothing hotter than that.
And then he takes up his pants, and he's got just like dollar bills wrapped around his dick too, just keeping that warm. No,
wow,
no, is that too much?
It didn't look like she had a lot of money on there.
You don't think so?
I guess, yeah. It only looked like $3,000.
Hey, I've never seen a chick with $3,000. And
how much? We don't know what the exchange rate in the Ukraine at that point is. So could have been buying a shitload.
Very true, man.
Yeah. Anyways, they go in. They're basically exchanging this the money for a missile, a nuclear warhead. Yes. And the guy is able to get the warhead. And Jackie Chan jumps into the back of the van before they head out. And so Natasha kind of jumps out. She's going to get more money, I guess, from the bank. Like they're supposed to get a deposit at the bank. And so he's like, okay, check on that. I'm going to go ahead and we'll like be in contact. And so Jackie Chan's stuck now with this new guy who he has no idea who it is. All he knows is that he's like pulling off his wig, and he's not at all what he originally thought he was. He's been in disguise. Yeah.
And then he takes him to like a ski resort.
Yeah, he's like fucking freezing, Jackie Chan.
Yeah, because Jackie Chan is dressed for just weather in Hong Kong. And so he gets up into these mountains, and this just cracked me up. He buys his hat off this guy that looks like a goofy little seal with a face on it, something you'd see a kid wearing. But we got like martial arts master Jackie Chan running around in this shit.
Yeah. At this point, we didn't really know he was necessarily a master, because he hasn't got to use the martial arts yet.
Well, all right. Yeah, I mean, but it's
I guess in the
Jackie Chan.
previous, in the first 3 police stories, we probably saw him do a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And so now that other guy takes off on a snowmobile and he's headed out somewhere. And so now Jackie Chan is like, well, shoot, I need to get a snowmobile and I'm going to head out after him. All the while wearing like a t-shirt, a long sleeve tee, and
no gloves,
SEAL hat. No gloves.
Right. And so he gets there. There's like some signs. He has like a little banter with the CIA about how a sign says he's going to get shot. And they're like, that sign's worthless. It's only for like keep teenagers out. So he continues to follow and they end up at a cabin where the guy has a bunch of his like, fellow criminals, I guess there. And they call up the woman and Natasha's like, the check didn't clear. Like the money, it takes 3 days to transfer. And he's like, fuck. And then she leaves the bank and she gets nabbed immediately by the CIA. So she's out for the count as well. Natasha's kind of out of there. And Jackie Chan's calling them up and like he's been relaying the information. They're on their way out in helicopters, a bunch of helicopters. And so they get there as well. And now it's Jackie Chan and the CIA versus this like mysterious criminal with a warhead, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's inside the cabin, and all of a sudden, dude, the deal, well, like you said, checked and clear. Deal goes sideways. He shoots the shit out of one of the guys.
Right.
The CIA rolls up, and they're like, oh my gosh, what's going on in there? What's going on? And so they start surrounding the building, and Jackie Chan's holding back because he's not armed.
No, he's just like, he's supposed to be on vacation.
Yeah, he's just a guy right now.
Right.
And, all of a sudden, dude, these are the most hardcore people in the movie.
Yeah, it was great. I really liked this portion of it. Not my favorite scene, but it was definitely pretty cool. As they all climb out of the snow, ready to take out these CIA people.
And I'm like, how long have these guys
been
posted up in the snow?
It seems
was incredible.
But
they open fire like it's insanity at the cabin.
Yeah, it goes crazy. Helicopters are shooting a bunch of people. The bad guys are shooting a bunch of people. Jackie Chan's like karate chopping a bunch of people. He's not shooting people, but he's karate chopping people in the necks, like left and right. And then he's able to jump on a snowmobile because like the main bad guy jumps on a snowmobile and rides away again with his with the warhead. So he chases after him again. And
Jackie ain't gonna let that get away.
No. Well, he kind of does, doesn't he? Kind of.
At some point,
yeah,
Jackie is taken hostage.
There's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on. Like he's like taking out these guys on skis and shit and snowboards. He's on a snowboard. Never mind. He's not chasing. He's chasing them on a snowboard. That's right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
not on a snowmobile. Yeah, he's on a snowboard chasing after them, doing like sweet tricks. And basically, we should also watch this for season 2, Extreme Sports, right?
I would think so, man. This I want to say constitutes extreme sports.
Yeah, for the cycle, does this really need extreme sports?
Yes.
Correct.
And the answer is no. It doesn't
casually
really.
Extreme sports.
This is literally a movie with casual extreme sports.
That is true. That's fair. That's
I don't
very
know.
true.
At some point between now and at another point, Jackie Chan's hanging off a helicopter. He loses the warhead. I think.
All right, hold on.
I'm just saying. I'm kind of forgetting the portion between this.
So there is a giant chase down this mountain. There's snowmobiles, like guns, people snowboarding, skiing. Everybody's like heading down. And Jackie even gets in a somehow like he and the main bad guy get on the same snowmobile at one point. But then the snowmobile that Jackie is on.
That's right, because the CIA recognizes the guy, Sui. Like, they recognize him as a prior CIA operative, and so they're kind of like, what's going on here? And so they kind of help him to get out of there a little bit. So he's on like a snowmobile with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and then at some point during the insanity, Jackie like launches off a cliff onto the landing gear of a helicopter, and he's hanging on there.
Right.
And like it was pretty awesome because Jackie Chan's hanging on this helicopter. The guy in the helicopter is just gunning down people who were like coming right at them. It's nuts, except he can't take care of the guy who's gonna shoot an RPG at them. Jackie Chan quickly looks down. He sees that, oh my gosh, look at that. There's open water in a mostly frozen lake. I'm gonna drop 1,000 feet into that. That'll be pretty fun.
Better than getting blown up by an RPG, right?
That's very true.
Yeah.
Very
So he
true.
does. He drops just as the helicopter explodes and falls into this frozen lake. And then he's real freezing. He's real cold. And Sui gets away with a warhead at that point. And he just kind of climbs out of the lake and gets rescued by the CIA. So the next time we see him, or not by the CIA, by the Russians. And so the next time we see him, he is in a hospital, kind of being revived. In the, not the KGB, what was it? The FSB?
Well, they're like, we're the new KGB.
Right.
Pretty much is what they said.
So they come, this guy, Gregor Yegorov, he comes to kind of talk to Jackie Chan and let him know what's up and what they need him to do. Because now all of a sudden, he's not even working for the CIA anymore. He's working for the Russians.
Yeah, man.
Boo.
And
I don't like that.
Where do they need him to go?
Australia, thank God. And we're thinking, another great plane ride. I can't wait to see this scene on a plane.
Yeah.
That's not the case,
a chance,
guys.
man.
Not the guy.
Like,
what podcast are we doing here? It's not Planecast yet.
Uh-oh, it's Submersion. What?
Is Planecast on the agenda?
Planecast?
Yeah.
Planecast is 100% happening. First episode, Submergence. The one with the plane, though.
That'd be pretty good. Is that a Seagal movie? I can't remember.
That is not. The Submergence is, but not that one. Or no, wait, what was that? Submerged. That's Seagal.
Oh, okay.
And then there's whatever.
So anyways, because they're Russian, they're like, you're going to go to Australia from Ukraine. By the way, we're going to send you on submarine. But first, we're going to put you in a helicopter, fly you out to the middle of the ocean, drop you off on the submarine.
It's great.
And this is when we're like, sweet. It's literally been 30 minutes of nonstop action. Like, it's just going to keep continuing on the submarine, right?
Well, we actually, and I was actually surprised we even ended up on the submarine. It seemed perfectly poised for it just to be a little stock footage, and then for him to be in. No, but they actually go into the submarine to have just like a little scene of them being like, "Welcome on the submarine," and then the captain pulls out his dick and he's like, "Well, you got to do what you got to do." And Jackie Chan's like, "Yep,
see ya."
Yep, and then he jets to Brisbane. Welcome to Brisbane, Australia. Where and why is he there? Why'd they go to Australia?
Was it cheap to film there? I don't know. I don't know why exactly they went.
The plot reason is that they don't know where Sui's going to go, but they assume that it's going to be potentially to see his sisters, because his sister's there and his dad is like a head of a gang there in Brisbane. So they're like, head to Brisbane, get in contact with a sister, and maybe that'll lead you to Sui, right?
Yeah, man. And his dad's not doing so hot, so like he's going to be laid up in the hospital.
And he's going to want to see him, right? He's going to want to see his sick dad, so.
He will. And we immediately cut over, and Jackie Chan's in his hotel room, and it's pretty incredible, man. Like, this place is awesome. It has a live koala in the room with him.
Seems like some kind of like health hazard, something that wouldn't actually happen, but it's pretty awesome.
I would think so, because I remember watching some kind of documentary, and I think what koalas have a lot of the time, I'm not even making this up. I think they like gonorrhea is really common.
I thought it was chlamydia.
Oh, I think it is chlamydia. That's right.
Come on.
Sorry.
And get prepared for season 16, Koala Cast.
Mm-hmm. That'd be pretty good.
It's not a bad one, honestly.
No, it's not, it rolls right off the tongue. Welcome to Koala Cast.
And it would be great when you find all of those movies with koalas. We had episode 100, and everyone's like, really? Wow. There's a lot of movies with koalas in there.
Over under 30 koala movies.
Well, it depends on if we did all of the episodes of that animated series that starred flying koalas, then we would easily get to 100, because I think they probably made 30 or 40 of those.
But if you're just talking movies, I can probably think of one. I only think it's, I don't even know if there's a koala, but Fierce Creatures. You guys ever see that?
I don't think I did. Was that the one with Amy Adams and stuff?
No, this was like Kevin Kline and John Cleese.
No, I didn't see it.
And why can't Jamie Lee Curtis? It's from the 90s. Anyways, so dude, he's getting all these new fancy clothes. He's even got this, like, these boxer briefs with this little koala directly over the crotch. It's like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah.
What is this?
He's loving his new koala briefs, which is a little bit weird.
Yeah. You gotta love if they're breathable, man.
So I think it's called the Noozles, by the way. That's the one with the flying koalas.
Back on the koalas.
Wait,
You
what?
out there looking it up?
I am, yeah. It's the Noozles, I believe.
Good.
What are we talking about?
Koala underwear.
Talking about the koala underwear.
Koala underwear.
Oh, perfect. This is 26 episodes, isn't it?
Good.
Yep.
All right. So anyways, Jackie meets up with Annie, the sister of the agent.
Right.
Or the bad guy, the guy with the nuclear warhead.
We think that he's definitely a bad guy. It seems like it since he's carrying like a nuclear warhead around and he keeps on talking about wanting to get paid and laid all day. So like that seems a little bit suspect. Like he just wants money for a nuclear warhead.
Or sex.
Not great. Is that right? Anyways, so he meets Annie and she is hot stuff, but Jackie Chan never really has real love interests, so that doesn't really come into play too much. And she doesn't, what is he? He like almost immediately is like, hey, can I go with you to see your dad? He's in the hospital.
Well, she gives him a very important piece of advice.
Oh yeah, don't move around. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, by the way, if you're ever in a Shark Tank and you're bleeding, stay still. He's like, I'm sure that won't ever come into play within the next 45 minutes of this film.
Yeah, it's funny because I watched this in two pieces. I watched half of it yesterday and half of it today. So yesterday I watched that and I saw that portion of it. Then today I watched like the rest of it. And when he was in the Shark Tank, I was like, oh, don't move. And I was like, wait, where did I learn that? I was like, oh, from this movie. That's right.
And then Alex, being clutch in our chat right now, posted some koala underwear.
Sweet.
But this is on the butt.
Oh.
I'm looking, don't worry.
Yeah, you find it.
So anyways, he heads over. He meets Uncle Seven, who apparently is like a local triad boss in Brisbane. And so he kind of like hangs out there, talks a little bit with him, doesn't really see too much. And when he leaves, all of a sudden, Sui shows up and talks to his sister. And it's basically like, hey, I left a package for you. Put it in a safe place, you know, and just keep it safe. And he was all in disguise, so he couldn't see, Jackie Chan couldn't see anything about him.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
But then Jackie Chan is also brought in to, you know, he meets with the dad, and then the brother reveals. Oh wait, sorry.
Yeah, this is.
I'm totally out of my head right now. You keep going with what you're doing.
This is the next part, right? The next part is that Jackie Chan, I mean, the brother kind of reveals himself to him, right, and kind of mentions that. What's going on, and that he had a deal with Gregor or something, right? Or is this after the big fight? Sorry, now I'm getting confused too. What happens next?
We're all confused.
We're super confused. What's happening?
All right, just whatever. Just cut on back to action.
Yeah.
All right, so all of a sudden, the police are like, well, Jackie Chan's like, dude, why on earth did you tell the sister that you're a Hong Kong policeman? He's like, look, man, I know for a fact that guy's going to show up because his dad is dying and he's a firstborn Chinese. And they're like, well, you know what, dude? If you're right, we're going to give you a gun. And he's like, sick.
You take this. You might need it when you follow the girl.
Wow. Now I'm 007.
And Jackie Chan's ready to kick some ass.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then yeah. So he realizes at some point that he feels like he's getting a raw deal or whatever, right? And so he decides to head home. He's like, fuck this noise, all of this. I'm heading home. Like I'm being used and I'm just going to like head home. So he goes back to his apartment to kind of pack up, say goodbye to the koala bear and like get out of there. And all of a sudden 2 thugs show up and they're like big, beefy guys. Jackie Chan, like, probably like 6'5", or something like that.
When we watched that Bond movie with Jaws in it and Roger Moore took on that first henchman that I thought had the broadest shoulders in the world and was the most stockiest man. I did not realize I hadn't seen this movie yet because holy shit, dude. Did you guys notice that? Like, what was with the shoulders?
Yeah.
They were huge.
Really small head, maybe, too.
Yeah. It's like it's just a different time, really.
I feel like the jackets they were wearing didn't really fit the greatest either.
No,
so
I think that factored in for sure.
Just all looked bad.
I think now they could probably get it tailored, and they could probably look a little more human being. But
they did not look human at all.
No, they didn't. So anyways, they get in a huge fight. This is my second favorite fight. As he kind of jumps around the apartment a whole bunch, jumps through all kinds of windows, jumps onto balconies, kind of jumping all over the place to get away from these two huge guys. At one point he runs over the pool, which was kind of interesting. He jumps onto a little floaty thing and quickly runs across. And
I actually mentioned that was because he does almost all of his own stunts. That was not what I do. You would just bust your shin.
Yeah, I feel like you would fall and then hit your chin straight on the edge, and you'd be out for the count. But he did it okay. He made it onto the other side. And
that was not one of the ones at the end of the movie that we saw that he ever screwed up on.
No.
Because that one would hurt pretty bad, but some of the other stuff he does hurts pretty bad too, I imagine.
Yeah. So he's able to kind of get out of there. He jumps into a different apartment, runs out, and basically calls up Hong Kong and is like, yo, I'm in trouble. Someone's out to kill me. Something's going on. I need to lay low. And they're like, oh, just go to a hotel. He's like, I don't have any money. I'm illegal here. I can't go to anywhere. I'm just going to sleep on the street. And then tomorrow I'll go to the embassy and we'll figure this all out. Okay. And so he sleeps on the street, wakes up in his beautiful North Face jacket and heads to get a little bit something to eat with his last few cents, and looks, and all of a sudden his face is plastered everywhere because he's been framed for the murder of Uncle Seven. Uncle Seven was killed in the hospital, and now he's being framed. He's the murderer, and they have video evidence of him being the murderer. And so everyone's just like, yo, there's the murderer, and they're pointing at him.
Yeah. And he's not super thrilled about that because he's Jackie Chan. He doesn't kill anybody, man.
Yeah. And he's pretty sure that the brother was the one who did it. So he heads over to this place where he knows everyone is, where they're kind of memorializing the dad or something like that. And so he goes in there and they're like, get the fuck out of here, man. We don't even want you here, man. And he's like, but I'm here and your brother did it. And they're like, what? And then they get in this huge brawl, and it's the best fight of the movie, easily. Where he's
it's crazy.
He's throwing tables all over the place. He's doing this thing with this ladder. He's doing all kinds of shit with a ladder where you're like, whoa, look at him with that ladder. And he's just
he's whipping 30 people's ass with a ladder.
Yeah. And
it's cool.
He's doing the faces and stuff like that. I'm just yeah, this is why you could see people watching this and being like, we need to get him over to America now. This needs to be, it needs to be movies now. Cause I was watching this this is great. I just could watch this. You don't even need sound. It's basically Charlie Chaplin martial arts shit right now, where it's just awesome in every way. So it was just so great choreographing, and I loved it. Am I raving
even
enough
some
about
of the moves that he would do? Oh man,
I think we're not super close. But anyways,
no, we're not.
So anyways, he kind of he tells Annie oh, it's your brother, and she runs away crying. But then the brother kind of explains the whole story, and I couldn't tell whether you were supposed to trust what he was saying, but he was basically I used to be a CIA agent, then I was caught by the Russians. And so the Russians turned me, but Gregor, who was part of this KGB type thing, actually had his own criminal enterprise where he was going to be the new Russian mob. And so he started having me do his business, which included buying and then selling nuclear arms. But now he's trying to kind of go against them a little bit in this last deal he was going to jet with the money or something.
And we also I think overlooked this earlier, but before that huge fight in the hotel room, the brother did confront Jackie with a gun, and got him butt naked.
Oh, that's right. That's
outside of his car.
Yeah, that is
totally forgot to talk about that.
That is what prompted him to decide to go home because he felt like he was being used. That's right. That's what we were forgetting.
It's funny.
How could we have forgotten the time when there actually could have been addiction?
Yeah, Jackie Chan was literally butt naked. You saw his butt, and it was funny because these people were walking by, tourists, took out disposable camera and took a photo of this
could not get enough
naked guy. And then like a German Shepherd came over and was sniffing him, and he's just like, oh shit.
Jackie was singing the song that they do it in Sister Act too. I was kind of wondering if there was some overlap there. It would have been around the same year, I think.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up.
You don't know.
Dang, man, you will.
But also, we'll get to that in season 30, Sister Act cast, where we just watch Sister Act a bunch.
We're really filling out the upcoming schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. We are, dude. Before like all this went down, the fight where the brother reveals what he's doing to his sister, he kind of tells Jackie about what's going on, lets him know that he used to work for the CIA.
Right, yeah.
And then he was forced to be a double agent. But Jackie Chan's comedy cracked me up so much in this line between the two right here.
Now we can talk. Yes. I know you're with the Hong Kong police. Who are you working with right now?
Used to be CIA, but now it's the FSB.
You have a complicated background.
It was quite simple.
What?
Complicated. No, it was quite simple. It's just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's great.
So they all decide to team up. They're going to get the Russian mob. And what they decide to do is they use the funeral to kind of set up this whole scenario where the Russian mob's going to take the guy out. Like they've decided, let's get rid of him and we're going to get the warhead back. And so they confront him and he comes out of the dad's casket. And they're like, oh, that's appropriate that you're getting out of the casket where that's where you're going to end up, dude. And he's like, not so fast. You're going to end up in this casket, man. And they just like going back and forth. There's all kind of snipers around. And they set it up where Jackie Chan's all of a sudden like, quick, and puts up a bunch of umbrellas to like prevent the snipers from sniping at anyone down there. And so then he's like, oh, that doesn't really matter, man, the mob, because we got your sister, bro. And they look up and the sister's being taken hostage.
On like a second story or maybe third story floor of a parking garage.
And this would be a huge problem if Jackie Chan wasn't dressed as a clown on stilts. Because that's what he is.
It sounds ridiculous, but man, he goes over there and kicks the shit out of this dude.
And he's kicking a lot of people with these stilts. He's doing stilt action all day. He's just kicking people in the face all day long with these stilts.
Like, how long was he in these stilts? I mean, it was like, what, 5-10 minutes? Like, just pretty much straight stilt action?
The best was that he, like, rescues the girl, and he's like, go, run, because she's, like, way faster than him because he's on these fucking stilts. Because he's so, like, slow as he's trying to, like, run away. So that everyone has to run, like, ahead of him. And then they're doing, the Russian mob's going all out trying to kill them. So like cars are coming after them and Jackie Chan has to like, he gets his stilts knocked away by like getting in front of the car. And then, he like kicks like a garbage can at someone else and all kinds of stuff's going on.
Dude,
and
it's crazy.
Yeah.
There was also in this entire, like, cause this was during the funeral procession, like type parade thing. It like, just a massive gunfight broke out with everybody else. And at one point, somebody shoots an RPG at the carriage coffin.
Right.
And I was like, holy shit, man. This is crazy. And it was funny because there was like a newscaster there later. Someone fired a rocket-propelled grenade into the hearse. So I was like, yes, thank you for acknowledging that because that was insane. Like,
it would also,
does that?
It would have been the huge. I like to think with these action films, just how big of a news story this would have been, like worldwide, where it would have been like in Brisbane, 15 people were killed in like a shootout at a funeral. It's like, whoa, what? I've been crazy.
Yeah,
even we
and probably, a man on stilts whipped the shit out of 40 people.
Yeah, these things are so.
Did somebody film this? This sounds crazy.
The events are so huge that even in America, we probably would have been like, "What's going on in Brisbane?" And so they head back. Annie and Jackie head back to the aquarium because they're pretty sure that's where the warhead is, and they find the package. And they get the warhead, but then the Russian mob shows up and they're crawling all over this aquarium. So they end up in the shark tank, and you're like, oh shit, watch out. You're going to get eaten by the sharks. If only you knew some way in making sure sharks don't attack you.
And he's like, oh, wait a minute. Flashback.
Oh, he learned it. He knows it. So he's like, whenever the shark's coming, he's like standing still. And like people, like the Russian mob, they don't know it. So a couple of them get eaten. And then He's fighting underwater. There's a lot of underwater fighting, which was fine. It was probably my fourth favorite action scene, probably. I wasn't like super keen on this one because everything's so slow underwater, you know?
Yeah, but it's also crazy because he did not have like a scuba suit on the whole time. So when he's fighting people, he has to like steal their mouthpieces and breathe in and just continue kicking their asses.
Yeah. So he kills a bunch of people. At one point, he's bleeding and another guy's bleeding, and so they keep on trying to keep the blood out of the water so the shark doesn't eat him. And in the end, Gregor just comes up and shoots the glass out of the aquarium, and all the water pours in, and he's able to take Annie and kind of like run away, and I guess the warhead as well, and run away with them. And Jackie Chan, he's like, fuck that. Gets his way out. He saves a bunch of people, obviously, but gets out of the aquarium, sees them on a boat, and they're like, see ya, dude. And they're like waving at him, and they're laughing, and they're like, he's never going to get on this boat. There's no fucking way he can get on this boat. There's literally 0% chance he can get onto this boat now. And Jackie Chan's like, not so fast. He sees a super fast car, and he's like a Lamborghini or something, or Mitsubishi, I think. Oh yeah, never mind. I see it here on my notes. Mitsubishi FTO. And he jumps into that car, and he drives back, and he goes off a little jump and drives that car straight into this little yacht. And I'm surprised the boat didn't sink. It just seems to be going fine after this. But he basically, he like pins the bad guy at that point. The bad guy's out for the count because he's pinned under a car in a boat. And Jackie Chan's able to take the warhead from him, save Annie, and then
hard cut.
Yeah.
Hard cut.
Straight to
them on a submarine.
Bring back that submarine, man. And this is the thing where I was like, this is crazy because they're like, we're taking you back, Gregor. We're taking you back to Russia. And I was like, on a submarine? Of all the things to do, what is it, like an inconvenient kind of just like it seems very inefficient to bring him back in a submarine.
Take a while, man, but yeah, that's what they're doing.
Sure. I guess maybe if they want to get out into international waters and like torture him. Is that what it is? Is that the implication? Probably.
That's what it is. That's what it totally is.
And then, Jackie's thanked. And
he's told to write a very detailed report.
Yeah, and that's the end of it. They're like, make sure you write up your report. It's got to be very detailed. Jackie Chan's like, shit.
Pretty much, man.
Pretty much.
That's it. So
the end.
Not a lot of sub action.
No.
We should get into some reviews.
I think that's probably right.
All right, man. I'll go first because I got a lot with this thing. And maybe this will help form your guys' reviews. I don't know. Because I had the DVD box art in front of me, like with the description, movie description on the back, stuff on the front. I'm going to read this to you guys, and I want you to just think about it, okay?
Okay.
So the back of the book or the movie says, in post-Soviet Russia, nothing is as it seems. When members of the Russian mafia pose as KGB agents to steal a nuclear missile, the CIA calls on martial arts master Jackie Chan to stop them. Jackie tracks the globe from the icy glaciers of the Ukraine to the pristine beaches of Australia, traveling by submarines, stilts, and snowboards, encountering man-eating sharks and heart-stopping beauties. In the air, on the ground, and underwater, the stunts are real. There are no stand-ins, no stunt doubles. Chan's authentic action and hilarious heroics make Jackie Chan's first strikes one of the most exciting, fun, and unique film experiences you'll ever have. I was like, sweet. Like, it's specifically the first mode of transportation it mentions is submarines.
Perfect.
And it mentions a bunch of different modes of transportation.
Stilts. Yeah, stilt cast.
Stilts. So I have 15 different modes that I was tracking of transportation that Jackie Chan took. First, he was in a car. Second, he was on a plane. Third, he was in a cab. Fourth, he was on foot. Fifth, he was hiding in a van. Sixth, he was on a snowmobile. Seventh, he was on a snowboard. Eighth, he was hanging from a helicopter. Ninth, he was swimming in a mostly frozen lake. 10th, he was riding in a helicopter. 11th, he was on a submarine. Then things started to distance themselves here. 12th, he was on stilts. 13th, he took an escalator in reverse. He ran up it when it was going down. Then he was in a sports car. Then he landed a car on the boat.
So he never went on the elevator. That was Annie. Annie was on the elevator.
Correct.
Doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But he must have taken some stairs. Oh, no, the escalator. That's right. Yeah, you got it.
And now listen to the front. Listen to the front of what the DVD read. Action delirium. It's like, all right, cool. And then it says, the world's most explosive action star fights for America for the first time.
Wait, what?
Exactly. I was like, what?
A little misleading.
I think they're just trying to market it to a lot of different countries, and that's probably why they bounced around a lot. Because if you look at the languages that this was available in, it was English, Cantonese, Mandarin, Russian, and Ukrainian. I think they probably each had their own
DVD.
Yeah, I think they each probably had their own DVD, and it probably each was very, keyed in on mentioning like, "Hey, we spent time in America," or "Hey, we spent time in Ukraine," or whatever.
Yeah, and on the DVD, it was English and French. So
Yeah.
those were your options. So with that said, I'll get into my review. I love Jackie Chan movies. I think he's great. He is widely considered one of the greatest martial arts
Artists.
artists, yeah, whatever you want to call it, martial artists of all time. His comedic timing is incredible. I think he's really funny. And like you mentioned, Jamie, he's super charming. He's always smiling, always having a great time. One of my favorite parts about his movies is something I don't think we really see a whole lot anymore. It's the blooper reels at the end of all the stunts. They're so good. Like, I remember those so well from all the Rush Hour movies. And I was trying to think of anybody today who is even like Jackie Chan. Like, is there like somebody younger that would be doing this type of stuff now? And I can't think of a single person who's like stepping into that role. I don't know if there's a demand for it or not, but
Is Jet Li, is he younger?
No.
He's kind of
Jet
old
Li's-
now
Jet
too,
Li's
now,
old,
isn't
yeah.
he?
Yeah.
And he never really did the Jackie Chan sort of spectacle martial arts.
No, but
He
anytime
was
he
much
did
more
do,
wire fu and stuff, right?
yeah, still good.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But I mean, I think Jackie Chan is, in kind of like a league of his own. I was reading some kind of list, and he was number 2. They mentioned, like, of all martial artists of all time, they put him at number 2. Number 1 being Bruce Lee, obviously. But did we need a sub in this movie? Not at all. I don't know what it added. I have no idea why we even had a sub in this movie. I'm glad we did, because I'd never seen this before, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I love the action scenes; they're super great. But we did not need a sub. It didn't add anything, and just kind of confused me more. Like, why the hell are we doing this? I mean, you could literally just take a plane. It's not like Jackie Chan's wanted by anybody. He'd be pretty easy to sneak on board a flight. So, oh man, it's gonna be hard to. I mean, I don't want to rate it super low, but it does not need a sub at all. It doesn't need one. So, action scenes were incredible. I'm gonna give it like a 6.
Wow.
Nice, very nice.
I'm actually surprised. I feel like it's a little low. I'm going to come in. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was super fun. Love the action scenes. You know, I watch all kinds of terrible action films, and so I'm pretty used to pretty choppy, not super great, well thought out plots for these kind of things. But the fighting, some of the best fighting scenes that I've ever seen. He really is like Charlie Chaplin, modern day kind of martial arts Charlie Chaplin type stuff, like just perfectly sequenced, almost like dancing martial arts, almost like it's everything's kind of laid out in this sequence that's like almost beautiful to watch. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was charming. It would have been one of those things where if I was a film executive, I would have been like, get him over here, stat. We need him in a movie now. We need him in America in a movie now. And that's pretty much what happened. And I don't know. I was debating. I think you've convinced me a little bit about the submarine action being pretty paltry. So got to bring it down. and bring it to a 7.5, 7.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang, still pretty
Right.
high.
Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Okay. All right, I guess I'll hop in there next. I think you guys have all said it. I think Alex said it a little bit at the top there. You're here to be entertained by one of the best in the business. Nobody does it quite like Jackie Chan does. It is very dance-like, the way he does his martial arts scenes, and every time, whether it's one of these classic ones or one of the more contemporary Hollywood ones like Shanghai Noon or whatever it was, Shanghai Nights, and the Rush Hour movies. It's always this, here's my weapon. It's this random object. Oh, now this ladder's my weapon. Now this paint bucket's my weapon. Now this sheet is my weapon. He uses everything as a weapon and sort of illustrates how he can use each of those in combat. And it's really entertaining to see. And he's just an all-around great entertainer. And even going back to '96 to watch one of these older ones on full display there, he's doing all the same stuff that I was kind of used to seeing him growing up in the Hollywood movies. And it was fun. To its detriment, as you mentioned, little to no real submarine action. Submarine did not have to be in the movie. It was just kind of there, just him getting around, doing all the things that you are expecting to see in like a James Bond movie, which I think is what is kind of what inspired the whole script to this movie. Is just like, we saw the skiing scene from a James Bond movie, throw that in there. We saw, the fight in the warehouse in James Bond movie, throw that in there. We saw James Bond on a plane, throw that in there. We saw James Bond fighting these massive, Russian behemoths, throw that in there. We saw James Bond on a submarine, throw that in there. They were really just peppering all that in. So the plot kind of felt like a means to an end, almost like we just watched episode 69, our porno, it's just kind of like, here's a little bit of plot to get to what the movie's really about. What the movie was really about was watching Jackie Chan be an entertainer, doing all this kung fu and a few of his sort of visual hijinks, making faces, saying funny things, doing all that that we're used to seeing Jackie Chan do. We got to saw Jackie Chan naked. That's a bonus for me.
It's a first for me.
Yeah, that's definitely a first for me as well. Looking toit like a tiger. I'm going to give this, it was entertaining, but I got to rate it on at being a submarine movie. I'm going to give it a 6.
All right, Alex, it's all on you, man.
All right. Well, I obviously really enjoyed this movie. I found myself laughing through it more times than I imagined I would have from the beginning. And I think the funniest scene to me, Ben, I know you posted this, and I don't recall if you guys talked about it, but when Jackie Chan starts singing I Will Follow Him, the famous song from Sister Act. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why he started singing it, but it was just really funny to me. And there's a group of tourists walking by, and they started singing it too, I think. And it was just really funny to me. I found myself laughing at that. I've really enjoyed the hotel chase scene, the one with the two goons that had the large shoulders. I just thought that was really cool how he was running through the hotel rooms, running in and out and on the exterior, and these two guys were chasing him. And he just did everything he can to escape. And I laughed really hard at the end when he finally was leaving. He said he's the dry cleaner and to this random dude's other room. And the guy immediately thought his wife was cheating on him, and it just cut scene right there. I just thought
that was really funny.
I was laughing quite a bit at that. So, overall, the action scenes were great, as always. It's really nice knowing that he does his own stunts, and it's just really nice. It's fluid. He goes over the top. He uses anything and everything he can. I really like watching that. As you guys have mentioned, no need for a sub in this. I don't know why they even marketed it. Because there is that one Chinese movie poster of it that shows him on the submarine saluting, making it look like
this movie.
Oh yeah, is that a posted in there?
I thought that was for another movie. That you
no, that's yeah, no, that's that one.
maybe we gotta get the Chinese version of this movie, man. Because what the hell? Why would they ever make that poster?
I know. Submarine added nothing to the movie. It didn't take away from the movie either, if you ask me. I'm just going to rate it on how much I liked it. And this one, I'm going to give it like a 7.8. Really liked it.
All right, man.
Yeah.
So I think overall, man, we'd all recommend checking this one out.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty.
Yeah, it's a fun
pretty
one.
fun. I mean, Jackie Chan movies are always so much fun. That guy, like you'd mentioned, I think it was you, Brom, all-around entertainer, man. He does not hold anything back when he's going for it. It's awesome.
Yeah, very committed to his craft. I mean, it's in his work, and I mean, he does all his own stunts. Like, he's committed to the job and wants to make people happy. You can just tell.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
All right, should I get into some trivia?
Yeah, man.
Sure.
And before you do your casting, throw it on over to me. I've got a little bit of trivia from the DVD biography.
Alrighty. So, First Strike was an enormous box office success. It grossed Hong Kong dollars 57 million during its theatrical run. It remains Jackie Chan's highest grossing film in Hong Kong to this day, and the third highest grossing domestic film in Hong Kong film history. And the film was released in North America to 1,300 theaters, which is pretty impressive. And it grossed $5 million opening weekend, and total gross was $15 million. So it did have a pretty substantial release in the end to America, which is also surprising. You could see him becoming much more of a star at that point. And apparently the movie was originally conceived as not being part of the police story film franchise, but probably, well, I mean, that doesn't make a huge amount of sense. That's just something I picked up from IMDb, but given that all the characters were the same from the police story franchise, they must have adapted into that pretty early. Couldn't have been much later than the start of production. So anyways, it was nominated for Best Fight at the 1997 MTV Movie Awards, and I only include that one because I found it kind of impressive that this film, which was a Hong Kong film, would have made it into Best Fight at the MTV Movie Awards. That's kind of
was it the fight where he's using the ladder and all the broom handles and stuff?
I believe so.
That was amazing.
It is kind of.
Could also be the aquarium one with the sharks. That one was pretty cool too.
I'll have to watch the entire telecast of the MTV Movie Awards to find out.
Good. You
all
do
right.
that.
You did get on it, yeah.
So each of the first two installments were actually directed by Jackie Chan. This is one of the two that was directed by Stanley Tong. And so there's only two directors for the 4 movies in the franchise. Apparently they had planned to do a Police Story 5, and it involved Jackie Chan's and Annie's wedding following the events of this film, but it was canceled. So he got married. Pretty interesting.
Uh-oh.
All right, and now I'm going to get into my casting what ifs. So throw it to Kyle.
Okay, so on the DVD there is a biography section, and I thought some of this stuff, I thought it was going to be an interview with the cast. Honestly, I didn't know what the heck I was getting into, but they had some really interesting information on Jackie Chan that I never knew. So when he was born, his parents were, not wealthy by any means. They could not afford the $26 hospital bill that they were charged for his birth, so they offered to sell him to the doctor that delivered him.
Interesting.
He turned it down. So he attended his parents eventually, I want to say, they started working in an embassy in Australia, sent him back to Hong Kong, where he attended the Chinese Opera Research School for 10 years, enduring 19-hour school days. Like, holy shit, that would be really brutal. But they did everything there from, singing, martial arts, acting, all that type of stuff. Everybody was doing that there. He also started as a stuntman with his film career, was later promoted to a stunt coordinator, and then got to work with Lo Wei, who is a former Bruce Lee collaborator. And Bruce Lee, as we might know, was always referred to, not always, not as a kid, he was referred to as the Dragon. and Lo Wei called Jackie Sing Lung, which means to become the dragon. So he saw something special in this guy, and I mean, it's not unwarranted. I mean, Jackie Chan is awesome. But I just found that stuff interesting. I never knew that about Jackie Chan. I'd be pretty pissed, find out your parents tried to sell you for $26.
Not great. Not ideal.
What the hell, man?
All right. So I get into my casting what ifs.
Can I ask a quick question?
What's that?
Do we know why this was called First Strike?
I was really wondering if they were trying to cash in on a lot of stuff, again, with where they were like moving across the country, or rather the globe, filming at all these different locations. Then they got the Sister Act music in there. They got all these like stuff that you're used to seeing in James Bond movies. And I was wondering if that's maybe like a play on like First Blood or something.
Right. That's what I thought too, that it was kind of playing on the idea of First Blood, First Strike. Dude,
I thought it was because he was fighting for America for the first time.
Exactly. That's also the thing I was thinking.
Yeah. And obviously with nuclear weapons, you get the terminology First Strike capabilities and all of that. I don't know.
Right.
I still can't believe that poster you put up, Alex. I'm going to put that online
deceptive.
so all our listeners can look at this. This makes no sense. You would think you were watching a hardcore sub movie.
All right. I'm going to get into some casting what ifs. So Jackie Chan got so famous after this and as he came to America that they started pairing him up with other famous people to get into these movies, and huge blockbuster success. My personal favorite is The Medallion, where he paired up with superstar Claire Forlani, and it's a terrible movie, and it has some hilarious, like, there's a one of the side characters. It just has a bunch of like gay panic scenes where someone thinks he's gay, and he's like, like the entire time, like he cannot believe the idea that someone would think he's gay, and you can find it online.
Really?
It's like a 2-minute scene of him being like, oh, but I'm not in what. He just can't believe it. So that's great. It's really great. But anyways, I'm going to use other sidekicks, not Claire Forlani that everyone knows and loves. All right. So if there was, and this is going to be a little bit different. If they made us Police Story 5, which of these sidekick pairings would you want? Or how would they rate as a possibility? All right. So Chris Tucker from Rush Hour, where are you rating that on a scale of like 1 to 10?
I'm probably gonna go like a 9 or 9.5 on that.
You're pretty happy with Police Story 5 with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker?
Yeah, of the people that I think you're gonna mention, I think Chris Tucker's probably gonna be my best, but I'm gonna leave room for someone else to
even someone like Owen Wilson from Shanghai Noon.
Yeah, he's probably like a 7 or 8 for me.
Interesting. Anyone else thinking
I was gonna say, man, Chris Tucker for me is like a 10. I think him and Jackie Chan in Rush Hour films. Yeah. I mean that is the stuff I grew up on. It's so funny. Him and Chris Tucker just played off each other so well.
I got a few here that you might start to think though. What about Jennifer Love Hewitt from The Tuxedo?
The movie was so bad.
It's a bad movie.
I'm gonna give that like a 4. I feel like they probably could have had some chemistry if it were a better movie.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
What about himself? Because he played his own sidekick in The Twin Dragons. He played a pair of twins separated at birth.
Dude, that's for twin season.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, yeah.
Jackie Chan and himself in Police Story 5.
Yeah, if Chris Tucker's a 10, that's like a 9.9 for me. It's right behind us.
All right, this one's going to knock your socks off. What about Ed Harris? All right, so it's a juggernaut pairing. It occurred already in a movie called Fire Chop. So Ed Harris is a gruff. In this movie, in Fire Chop, he was a gruff, no-nonsense cop. And he was just weeks away from retirement, too old for this shit. And he plays by nobody rules because crime is a disease and he's the cure, right? So Jackie Chan is Jackie Chan in this scenario as well. Anyways, in the climactic scene, Jackie Chan, he's doing like all kinds of flips and stuff, and he's fighting people, and he's got like a broom, and he's got like a mop, and he's got like a ladder, and at one point he has a canoe, and you're like, whoa, this is crazy. He's like fighting everyone with everything. And then he gets in the middle of it, and all of a sudden he's like cornered, So he rips Ed Harris's shirt off, right? And uses his shirt as a weapon. And everyone's like, whoa. And Ed Harris is all like, I'm too old for this shit. But he's got like these glistening pecs. And you're like, I don't know. Those pecs look pretty young, bro. Right? Everyone's like, right. And so now he's all greased up. Jackie Chan's sweating from doing all his kung fu stuff. And it's like this majestic dance. Their glistening bodies intertwined. And it's just majestic. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are you thinking? How about that one? What about the Ed Harris pairing? What do we think?
That's like an 11 out of 10.
Perfect.
I kind of like it as like the Last Vegas, like these two really old actors. A bucket list of action.
So what you're saying, is Police Story 5 : Last Vegas 2.
I'd watch it.
Police Story 5. I'm too old for this shit.
Right.
I think you're onto something with colon there. Maybe they get like a colonoscopy or something at one point too.
Nice.
Oh.
All right. So I'm going to quickly do my Phantom Zone.
Engage the Phantom.
Phantoms engaged, sir.
So there's probably a bunch of ways to do this. I kind of wanted to pick up a new movie. So I went through a guy named Paul Pape, and he actually is an ADR actor. So he's credited as a voice in this film, and he's credited as a voice in another film called The Rescue. And so the synopsis on IMDb for this film is: a group of kids venture into enemy territory in an ambitious attempt to rescue their Navy SEAL fathers who were captured during a failed mission in North Korea. How about that?
Wait, that's a real movie.
It's called The Rescue. It actually has like famous people in it. It was a TV. I think it was a TV movie. Oh yeah, it's got Kevin Dillon's in it, like super famous Kevin Dillon. I think there's other like equally famous people as Kevin Dillon in it. And yeah, it's real. And basically, it definitely has a submarine in it. There's a submarine. It kind of gets trapped in the bottom of the ocean, and these Navy SEALs go down to rescue the people. They rescue them, but when they get up to the top, North Korean people are there. They take them back, and these kids go in to rescue them from North Korea. It's crazy, right?
Dude, this sounds insane. This would have been good for our Trapped cycle.
Right. So then in The Rescue, there's a woman named Wendy Gordon, and she was also in The Abyss. So we can jump straight over to The Abyss. And she basically plays a newscaster in a whole bunch of stuff. She was in at least 10 different movies and TV shows just playing newscasters.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's Phantom Zone.
Dang, man.
Nice job.
You only kind of been shut down once.
Yeah. This one actually was a little harder. This was one of the harder ones. Yeah, the porn didn't work out so well, but someday I hope. What we have to really do is we need to make our own submarine movie and then cast both Ed Harris and one of the people from the porn in that.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah.
Then it'll make it easy.
Complete the cycle. Oh my God. It's world wide. All right, all you co-hosts and people at home, what was Jackie Chan trying to get back from the fake KGB?
A warhead.
The warhead?
A nuke. Yes, he was. And Jackie Chan's hands are considered a nuclear weapon by myself and other members of this podcast. And Jackie Chan is from Hong Kong, which is considered a part of China, although that is often contested. So I decided to go with China's first nuclear submarine.
Okay.
The Type 092, or Zia, maybe? I don't know. XIA class. I can't pronounce that. Like I mentioned, it's the first nuclear-powered submarine deployed by China. It made China the 5th country in the world to have a nuclear-powered submarine after the U.S., Russia, UK, and who knows the 4th one?
U.S., Russia, UK, and Japan.
Australia.
No, come on.
India.
Guys.
China.
Brazil.
It's got to be China.
France.
India.
France. It is France.
Okay. There we go. Anyway, because they had the biggest sub. They had that giant sub.
Mm-hmm. So this is also the first SSBN designed and built in Asia, and it is actually the only one in its class. It was built in 1981, commissioned in 1987. So the specs on this thing, it is 393 feet, 8 inches long.
That's pretty good.
A beam. It is. It's almost 400, but not quite. Has a beam of 32 feet, 10 inches. I thought this was funny online. Has 1 nuclear reactor, 2 steam turbines, and 1 shaft.
Why is that funny?
It's not. Speed. Can travel at 22 knots, which is 25 miles an hour. It's nuclear powered, so it's really only limited by the amount of supplies. Can hold 100 people. Has 6 torpedo tubes and can hold 12 JL-1 SLBM missiles, which stands for Sub-Launched Ballistic Missile. I was reading a lot of different reports on these things, and it's kind of has a troubled past. So when it was launched, there were all kinds of issues with the sub. Probably one of the most egregious or hazardous issues was that the nuclear reactor was leaking radiation. So I can't imagine that was super fun to be around. And this is also allegedly the loudest of the U.S., Russia, and Chinese ballistic missile subs. So it's extremely easy to track.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah. There are actually rumors, because I'd mentioned this is the only one in this class, there are rumors that there was a second one built and that it sank in an accident in 1985, although no one can confirm it. And according to militarytoday.com, the JL-1, the SLBM, the first live test failed when they tried to launch it, and it took 3 years for them to get a successful test. So because it's been very unreliable, the sub has apparently never even left Chinese coastal waters and has not even left port with a nuclear weapon.
Wow. So this is kind of like what we would have seen in Phantom when it was like Ed Harris was getting demoted and kind of they're like getting the shit boat. They would have been putting him on this boat probably.
Right. And it did make its first, public appearance in the late 2000s at like a 60th anniversary of the, I can't remember the official name of China right now, but it's like the People's Liberation of China or something, at the celebration 60th anniversary of their Navy.
And everyone was like, oh, that's cute. Clap for it. It's good. It's also good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super loud. Can you turn it off?
Can you turn that sub down?
Holy shit, I can't hear anything else. But yeah, man, that's it for subs worldwide.
I liked it. I love that one, actually.
Good. Alex, you got something?
I got a little something. You guys think I was actually looking up news? Cool. Alrighty. So, just some world news-wide stuff. It looks like India is selling a submarine to Myanmar, also known as Burma to some people. Not for sure why they're really getting one, but they're looking to obtain a submarine fleet in the next coming years. Myanmar is. And they're getting a Kilo-class submarine that was originally bought from Russia in the 1980s, was modernized in India, and is being sold over to Myanmar. One thing I did hear about this, though, they have updated their instruction booklet, which includes an entire chapter on closing the hatch.
No, they did not.
I just made that up. Next, this happened a couple days ago. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Russian President Vladimir Putin took a little dive in a small submersible to go take a look at a World War II submarine that had sank at some point. There's a little video on it. Just shows him in the small submersible, and he just kind of goes, they said 50 meters down to go take a look at it. So kind of neat. The YouTube comments on it are atrocious, as you could imagine, so don't read those. But it is kind of neat seeing, one of the leaders of, a major power in the world still living his life, doing whatever he wants to, and going down in this small submersible with a couple other people to go take a look at an old relic for a World War II sub. So that's kind of cool. Didn't really find too much else in terms of news for submarines, but since we did watch a Jackie Chan movie, I looked up Jackie Chan news, so I've got some news and facts that you guys might not have known of. Some of these are kind of interesting, but I'll keep them quick for you. The first one, Iran, as in the country, TV boss is sacked over Jackie Chan's sex scene. So it turns out in December of 2018, so 7 months ago, one of Iran's state-run broadcasting firms called IRIB, which stands for Islamic Republic of Iranian Broadcasting, showed the 2009 Hong Kong film with Jackie Chan, Shinjuku Incident. I probably butchered that. Anyways, there's a quick scene in it where I guess Jackie Chan has sex with a prostitute.
What? I can't even imagine Jackie Chan doing that in a movie.
Yeah. Anyways, this is a huge controversy for Iranians, and it drew actually obviously news headlines on this because they immediately fired the guy who was in charge of making the decision for it. One comment I did find, that was kind of funny from Twitter in this article says, buses turn over, planes crash, ships sink, no one is dismissed. A few seconds of Jackie Chan making love, and immediately all the staff in the section are sacked. So I think it's just kind of strange and funny. Obviously, they're a pretty strict lifestyle that they have over there, and showing this caused controversy, whereas compared to the rest of the world, no one really bats an eye. Jackie Chan also wrote a memoir at some point where he admits to throwing his son across the room when the son was around 2. Looks like, I don't know, I've never read the book, but from this article I've read on it, sounds like Jackie Chan, had some problems growing up, obviously with all the fame and everything. He admits to driving drunk all the time, crashing vehicles, and one of the things he also, I guess, threw his son across the room. He said luckily, his kid wasn't injured, but if he would have hit something else, it definitely could have been very serious.
Dang, really? Like this is crazy, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear this about my Jackie Chan.
Next, back in 2017, Jackie Chan was confirming reports that Rush Hour 4 is going to happen. For some of us in this podcast, it's great news. We would love that. But that was 2017. As in April of this year, 2019, several months ago, he is now denying all rumors on that. So I don't think Rush Hour 4 is happening anytime soon.
Oh, dude, that sucks, man.
Some of you might not have known this, but Jackie Chan was the 5th highest paid actor in 2018.
Really?
Which I thought was kind of strange.
2018. Huh.
Yep. Let me see if I can find the rest of the list here for you. Jackie Chan was 5. 4th was Chris Hemsworth. Obviously for all of his Thor and Infinity War movies. Big success. Next is Robert Downey Jr. along the same line. The Rock is listed as number 2. And number 1, I think everybody knows this, is George Clooney. He's the highest paid actors in the world. So that's pretty crazy to think that, after all these years of him making movies, that he is still getting paid big dollars. And 2018, according to Forbes, he made $45.5 million.
No kidding, dude. Because he didn't even have a movie come out in 2018. There's got to be all the stuff that's coming out this year.
And last but not least, this little fact, I don't know how much of our listeners really know about this, but Jackie Chan actually was given an honorary Oscar in 2016. And it's mostly due to the fact that he has created over 200 films and broken a lot of bones. But like I said, this is honorary. He's been doing this for quite some time, making many films, and I guess it was time the Academy actually honored him and actually gave him an honorary Oscar. So he is an Oscar award-winning martial artist.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, he's been making some really solid movies for a really long time, and one that I would say, if you haven't seen it, that is really considered one of his best is Drunken Master, and it's good.
Oh, yeah. Very good. All right. Well, that's all I got for the news. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah, man.
I loved it.
I could tell.
Tube 3 ready to fire, sir.
Commence the countdown.
4, 3, 2, 1. Give it to me.
Huh. I guess that's it.
What if I just left, ready to
guys?
fire, sir?
Commence the countdown.
3, 2, 1. Give it to me.
All right, guys. So as Alex mentioned just a few moments ago, Jackie Chan, known for breaking many bones, definitely puts his body on the line, does a lot of his own stunts. My countdown tonight going to be top 5 gluttons of punishment in Hollywood. These are other Hollywood actors that have risked life and limb as part of dedication to their craft as actors and actresses here. So number 5, I am going to acknowledge the beautiful Halle Berry, the legendarily beautiful actress. She broke her arm while filming Gothica, alongside a scene with Robert Downey Jr., and she broke her foot while filming Cloud Atlas. There's a number of other strains and sprains and other injuries, but those were 2 that stuck out to me with Halle Berry.
And I think just most recently in John Wick 3, I saw she'd broken multiple ribs and that type of stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
Really? I didn't even know she was in John Wick 3. I haven't got to see that one yet.
Oh, she plays a major part. Yeah, she's super kick-ass in it.
Cool.
But I'm pretty sure she broke a number of bones in that role also.
Well, sweet. She's still out there kicking ass, taking names, and isn't afraid to get hurt. Number 4.
No way, man.
Number 4 is Daniel Craig, while portraying James Bond across, 4 movies. Daniel Craig had his 2 front teeth knocked out. He also received 8 stitches after being kicked in the face. In The Quantum of Solace, he tore a shoulder muscle, bruised his ribs, and lost the tip of one of his fingers.
Ooh.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Does it mention anything, I think, from Casino Royale where he was smacked in the nuts a lot with that rope thing?
I don't think so. I think the last 4 things I mentioned there were all Quantum of Solace. That included this 8 stitches after getting kicked in the face. Only one would have been the 2 front teeth getting knocked out. I think that was Spectre. So he might have got out unscathed on Casino Royale.
Can you imagine when you're filming and you just look, you're like, I just knocked that dude's teeth right out.
Yeah, and then just how much that will delay filming and stuff. That was kind of what I was thinking about. Because some people were out for like 30 days and then they're like the main actor in the movie.
CGI, and he's just smiling and just missing these 2 front teeth. Stuff in.
Number 3, Bradley Pitt. Don't know if you've ever heard of him. Maybe better known as Brad Pitt. In the film 7, Brad's arm went through a windshield and severed a tendon during a chase scene. He filmed the rest of the movie in a cast that they had to write into the script. So that's why you see him with a cast for a heavy chunk of the film there.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, very good movie. Nearly a decade later, while filming Troy, this is incredible. Brad tore his Achilles tendon while playing the Greek hero Achilles. He missed 10 weeks of filming.
Oh,
dude.
How ironic is that?
He did that just for the press. Did it on purpose.
I can't get a more ironic injury than that. Number 2, Sly Stallone.
Nice.
Got a huge Sly Stallone fan on the podcast here, Jamie. And I'm gonna show your boy some love on my countdown. Number 2, during a unsimulated spar with Dolph Lundgren in Rocky IV, Sly took a devastating punch to the chest that caused his heart to swell. Sly was airlifted to the U.S., where he spent 8 days in the ICU. Also broke several ribs while portraying John Rambo, and required metal inserts after injuries in both The Expendables and The Expendables 3. I think one's in his head and one's in his neck.
Nice.
Wow.
dang.
Way to go, Dolph, man.
And number 1.
Right, yeah. I got number 1. Can I guess number 1?
Go for it.
Our boy Tommy Cruise?
It's not Tom Cruise. He did bust his broke his ankle on Mission Impossible.
Thought for sure you'd have done
Number 1,
Tommy Cruise
though, this is pretty bonkers. It is from the all from the one film too, but the highest grossing R-rated film of all time, The Passion of the Christ. Jim Caviezel took a beating playing the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He was struck by lightning while filming the Sermon on the Mount. His fellow castmates claimed to see fire shooting out of his head.
Whoa.
Fortunately,
Oh my God.
Fortunately, he survived without major injuries, but proceeded to continue filming and suffered a separated shoulder, hypothermia, pneumonia, and lung and skin infections before completing the film.
Wow.
That's unreal.
Yeah. And that is my top 5 gluttons for punishment in Hollywood.
You didn't even mention Ed Harris either.
Didn't mention Ed Harris. What all did he rack up?
Oh, during the Abyss.
In the Abyss.
Oh,
yeah, in the Abyss, he almost drowned. He also was ripped in half during that film. They had to put him back. They had to stitch him back together.
If it was honestly between him though and Kate Winslet, I'd have to give the nod to Kate. She suffered like pneumonia and hypothermia, and also almost drowned. Also in a James Cameron film, but I guess James Cameron was such a hard ass that she didn't complain to him because she was kind of intimidated by him when she almost drowned on the Titanic.
Well, there we go. Kyle, is this the longest episode we've ever done?
How long we at?
Like a 128.
Oh man, we are getting pretty long here.
Yeah, we can just cut all of Alex's stuff. It'd be fine.
Don't do that to Alex.
I don't care.
No, dude. What we need to do is talk about for those of us who weren't able to watch the Iron Man episode live. We've got some grievances there about that thing. Good Lord, man. Do
you want to recap it again? Should we just start?
I know Alex enjoyed the episode.
Should we get into it?
What do you guys need to say about it?
Best thing I've ever seen.
Thanks for listening to Submersion. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every Thursday. If you like what you heard, please leave us a rating on iTunes.